Welcome to the first episode of the President's Podcast. I am the president of Black Nurses Association of Greater St. Louis, Mia Glover.
And I'm the immediate past president, Dr. Leonora Muhammad.
And we are live from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. for NBNA Day on Capitol Hill.
Yes, we are super excited, man. We've been jam-packed doing a million things today. We done kicked it off. This is an annual event that happens every year, the first Thursday of February, where we meet as Black nurses from around the country to Capitol Hill, where we can talk about our legislative priorities. So we got about seven this year.
Yes, we have 7 key priorities that we are addressing with the representatives. The first one is ensuring health equity, supporting the nursing workforce. The second one is gun violence, America's continued crisis. Third, obesity, America's health calamity. The fourth one is suicide, a mental health catastrophe. The fifth one, equity and wellness, climate and environmental justice. Number 6, criminal justice reform and health inequities. 7, time to reckon with Black mental health. Black maternal health. We cannot forget about our mamas and babies.
No. And so far we have had an event today led by our Health Policy Committee and our first Vice President, Dr. Sheldon Fields. We've heard from a lot of different speakers today at the event.
Absolutely. We have heard from our president, who I love, Dr. Martha Dawson. We've heard from our first Vice President, Dr. Sheldon Fields. He is also the chair of the National Health Policy Committee. Then we've heard from our immediate past president, Dr. Eric Williams. We've heard from our 5th president, who actually initiated this National Day for NBNA on Capitol Hill, Dr. Alicia Georges.
Yes, and that was 1988. All the way back in 1988, she thought about an idea of talking about these priorities at the Capitol. And so we are doing this how many years later now? Over 20 plus years later.
It's 35th annual day.
Yeah, 35th annual day. So it's much needed. And some of the things that they talked about in 1988, we are still dealing with today. So we see the importance of having an event like this so we can carry on and we can really see some changes in our legislative branch. And so we have, heard from a lot of different speakers from organizations around the country, from the National Academy of Medicine. We had folks from Pfizer, Prolacta Bioscience, who else? Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. That was an awesome presentation. And you just don't know the targeting in the Black community towards tobacco. We heard about older health and nutrition from Robert Blankio. I might be saying this name wrong. He's from the Met Spankio Associates National Coordinator, and he's with Defeat Malnutrition Today Coalition. So who else? And then we also heard from Vitas, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Diane Dees, she said something that really touched my heart today. She said, some people may not have healthcare throughout their entire life, from the day they was born to all the way to the end. She said, but at Vitas, they believe that when a person dies, they should have good health care. And it really made a difference to me today.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also heard from some representatives too as well. One that I do remember is Jim Claiborne from South Carolina. He said a quote. He said, find something to do in which you are not paid. So this is the work that we are doing at NBNA and the BNA of Greater St. Louis. We are doing work in which we are not paid so we can better our community. So we are out here on Capitol Hill. We're rocking it. Oh, tell them about our meeting. We done met with some congressmen and women here as well.
Yeah, we met Representative Benny Thompson. He's from Mississippi. He said he represents 30 counties in Mississippi. They don't have Medicare expansion. They have 5 hospitals closing. People aren't taking advantage of the ACA. So that was really, really eye-opening as well. Today, for our local chapter, we were able to meet with Toya Kelly and Jessica Liu. They are assistants for the Senate.
Legislative aides.
Legislative aides. That's right, not assistants. Legislative aides for Senator
Tammy Duckworth.
In
the state of Illinois. Now, in the NBNA of Greater St. Louis, we right across that river in the Metro East area for East St. Louis, Belleville, all the counties, St. Clair County, Madison County. So we represent nurses on both sides. So we felt it was important to talk to our senators in the state of Illinois as well, because there's some work to do over there as well.
Absolutely. We asked them to continue. Well, we thank them because they are really in line a lot of things that we're in line with, like the omnibus bill. They are in full support of that. So we thank them for that, but we want them to continue to support these types of legislature as well as other ones that come up. So we asked them to continue to support the ICANN bill for improving care and access to nursing. We asked them to continue to support the lack of equity in maternal outcomes. We know that patients do better when we're cared for by a provider who looks like them or share their lived experiences, and we want to make sure that we continue to support those types of bills.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about a couple in particular. It was about, we talked about 3 different ones for sure. We talked about suicide and mental health catastrophe. We also talked about supporting the nursing workforce. And what's the last one? About Black maternal health.
Yes, yeah, exactly. We talked about related to incarcerated moms. We actually, Dr. Leonora so eloquently put that a mom is still chained to the bed sometimes when she's doing active labor. And so we want to change the law so that we make sure that, when the person's giving birth, that they are in the healthiest position that they can be in, even if they've committed a crime.
Yeah. And, sometimes we don't know that these things are happening if we don't work in those particular fields and careers. So that's exactly why we want to bring awareness to our senators, our congressmen and women, so that they can push forward. And one thing I learned today too is that you have to continue, we might have the bill out there, but you have to continue to support it every single year so that funding is there for those bills to continue on. So it's not just a one-stop shop, let's get the bill passed and that's it. We have to still push it forward so that those bills can still be funded and so that it can still continue on. So that was one thing that I learned.
That was a huge thing
today.
And yeah, we know that I am an APRN and we know that directly affecting my job is the need for a compact licensure, allowing us to practice to the full extent of our education. And so we want to make sure that we are pulling that to the forefront of everybody's mind because access to care is so important.
Yeah. And, with me working in corrections, a lot of the initiatives of NBNA still focuses on those incarcerated individuals because most of the incarcerated individuals are people from our community. So the same priorities that we have from NBNA is also priorities for the incarcerated population as well. So I've seen just from, with the suicide, mental health reform, criminal justice, that's one of the key 7 of our initiatives, the criminal justice reform and health inequities, where we're talking about the sentence population, and those individuals have poor health outcomes, and 1 in 20 Black men were in state and federal prisons in 2018. And we got an increase in mental illness there. Then we got juvenile populations that may be suffering from suicide, increased rates of suicide because it's their first time, being incarcerated because of gun violence, which is another one of our priorities. So it's, all of these things are connected. And if we can't even fix 1, 2, 3 of these initiatives, we would be doing so much better in our community. So
absolutely. I was going to piggyback off that suicide thing because we know that there is a low amount of Black MPs that are focusing on mental health. And we definitely want to increase that number. Somebody mentioned something today that I never even thought about. It really was eye-opening. They said that we want to encourage legislature to change or give the ability to change insurance plan if your family member has died of suicide or been affected by a trauma, that, how you sign up for your insurance plan at the beginning of the year, and then you're not allowed to change it again to the end of the year.
Yeah.
Well, that's very stagnant. And so someone mentioned today that we should have legislators to support that if something traumatic happens in your life, that you can change your health insurance plan so that you can get access to mental health care.
Yeah. And, Mia also mentioned to the legislative aides for Illinois, for Senator Duckworth, about the use of telehealth and increased funding for telehealth, because we need to get these services. And especially for mental health, those folks can be at home, calling in, talking to providers. We need to have access, especially in corrections too, as well. We beefing up what we're doing with telehealth, because we need to get the resources out to these rural areas, our patients in the rural areas, and hopefully they have the bandwidth to be able to connect virtually, but we have to start with the funding to increase telehealth in all, areas of healthcare.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned today too, I believe it was Dr. Loretta Lee, maybe, about equity and wellness, climate and environmental justice. This is something that it wasn't even on my radar. Like it doesn't really come up to my day to day. So it was amazing opportunity today. She said instantly you think of Flint with the water. She said that is an environmental issue. She talked about Jackson, Mississippi, and how they're having issues with clean water right now, 2022, 2023. I didn't even know that. She talked about fence line communities and things that, so Black and brown communities are often next door or really close to places where there's large industrial areas. So we're talking about like noise, odors, traffic, emissions, all of those things are right next to our communities because that's the land that's, kind of surrounding our communities. And so we make sure that we are lobbying for healthcare equity all the way across the board.
Yeah, man, we didn't talk a lot, and what we're gonna do now, everybody, all of the NBNA chapters are meeting with their congressmen and women from their state, and what we're gonna do after we're gonna wrap up our meetings here very quickly, and then we're gonna debrief on like what we've talked about and some of the promises that those senators and those congressmen and representatives have made to us, and if they were supportive, we can definitely say the Illinois team is very supportive of what we do. They said our initiatives is aligning with what their initiatives are, and of course they have supported already some of these bills that we mentioned. So I think it's been going pretty good so far.
I think so too. We reached out to 2 of our Missouri representatives and they weren't available. So hopefully we can continue this conversation so that we can still get our initiatives in front of them.
Yeah, because it don't stop here. Because don't forget, March the 1st, 2023 is going to be Missouri Advocacy Day. So we have our Health Policy Committee Chair, Ms. Dana Merritt, and then also our co-chair, Charity Bean, that will be trying to coordinate us a visit to Jefferson City so we can attend Missouri Advocacy Day. So this doesn't just end right here. We have to do the work too as well in our actual state, going to Jefferson City, talking to our local and our city local representatives, our aldermen, whoever we can talk to that has influence and that can make changes in what we are focused in. So we hope that that we can, lead with our NBNA initiatives, but we bring those back to our local community so we can do the work here in St. Louis and East St. Louis. That's it. That's all. That's it. We finna rock out. We finna close out here because we got to go in there. We got to debrief on all the good work that we're doing across the country, across NBNA, and yeah, we hopefully make something happen.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly right. So I'm excited. We're right in the middle of it. We're in the thick of things. It's my first NBNA day on Capitol Hill, and it definitely won't be my last.
Absolutely not. So thank you
That's it.
for
Thank you.
joining
Yeah.
us. This is the first President's Podcast with our new Madam President of the BNA of Greater St. Louis. She is taking the reins, and we are very happy for her and supporting her. And hopefully, you're going to see many more good episodes of the President's Podcast in 2023.
That's it. That's it. So follow us on Instagram, on Facebook. Check our website out, www.bna-stlewis.org, or the national website at www.nbna.org.
Yep, and subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can see the President's Podcast. Also, we'll probably get back to putting it on the podcast and Spotify, all of our little networks where you can see us. So there we go. I forgot our little saying. We're gonna have to go back.
Oh, no. Absolutely.
Okay, there we go. See, that's what the presidents do.
All things nursing
in the loop. All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.